everybody that comes in is just gaining benefits, benefits, benefits. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it.
This is an important aspect of being a Zen dad, because we get all these plans. I'm just making sure every notification I've got is off. We make all these plans, and then we have these big aspirations, and the kids are off school for 2 weeks, and you're a single dad. And sneaking stuff in here and there is very difficult to do, and staying consistent is almost impossible.
Yeah.
I have some coaching clients I'm working with currently that are at the peak of peak performance. So think about people that train physically to the level of winning physique and bodybuilding competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think about somebody who's dedicated to that. Think about someone who has two elementary school age children. Think about someone who owns 7 startup businesses simultaneously.
Yeah. It's wild.
The challenges are all threatening the house of cards that this foundation is built on.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, I mean, this is like the norm now. People are setting their lives up in a way where it's just so hectic. It's so crazy that like, how do you do it all? How do you manage it all? It's almost damn near impossible. So I think like when you're setting that standard of, yeah, I've got 7 businesses, I've got small kids, I'm a single dad, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't fucking do all this. This is way too much. How do you juggle it all? How do you juggle it all? And how do you prioritize? Like, is this the life that I actually want to live? Is there some calm in this? Is there some fun in this? I've asked so many people, like, what do you do for fun? And they're just stumped. They're stumped. How do I make $1 million business? I got it. 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 They've got all the answers to that. Hey, how do you have fun? Well, I work. Well, no, no, no. How do you have fun? Well, I go to the gym. No, no, no. Like, when do you laugh out loud? Like, where is that? Nothing. It's just gone. It's like non-existent. Why? Why are we doing that to ourselves? It blows
Well,
my
it's a
mind.
great question. It's the question. You can't take anything with you.
No.
Okay. So you made $1 million business. That's great. Who are you at the end of that journey? I'll give you an example. So my partner, Brandy, she is a chiropractor by degree. So as that's what her doctorate is in. And she spent the last 25 years working in functional medicine, meaning she does everything that a doctor would do, but the prescription is lifestyle change, healthy diet adjustments,
Mhm.
supplements instead of pharmaceuticals. I've watched her unwind people who were on 16 medications, 4 of which were to combat the side effects of all the other medications. And the person who's on these medications didn't start that way, started with 1, but then the root cause wasn't addressed. So now it's 2, and then on until we can't manage anymore or chronically sick. So somebody came to her recently, and this is an athlete in their 30s, so still in the prime of the life force flowing through their body, kicking ass, kicking ass, kicking ass. Yeah, I don't really need your services, but I heard about you. I thought I'd check it out. I just got some lab work done. Maybe you could take a peek at that.
Mhm.
Takes a peek at everything. When you look at it from the allopathic Western model, the person is in range in all their lab work. They're at the peak of their health, and they are amazing. And then you do something called a system survey. And this system survey is several hundred questions. And what it does is creates graphs that show where your systems are compromised prior to it expressing that as a physical symptom.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these would
Precursors. Yeah.
be like an early intervention.
Yeah.
This person is off the chart in every single category.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense, but I feel amazing. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And you're about to train wreck next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The thing about this is we can push and push and push because we got all this energy and we're really fired up about it. But at the end of the day, where's that leading us in terms of balance, in terms of that synergy in life that gives us this place of joy and happiness and fun? Because that person 10 years from now, without a course correction now, immediately is going to be a physical and mental train wreck. It is a virtual guarantee because you can see it. And the data doesn't lie. It's just pre-symptom. So we have no awareness in our strong body. We feel amazing. And then all of a sudden we don't. And we say, well, oh, I'm just getting older. I'm a little stressed out. You had that information a decade prior if you were just paying a little bit of attention to it. And one of the key elements is what you practice constantly, just having a lot of fun, and you bring your kids into the process. You just took 2 weeks off. You're in the middle of building a business. This is significant for your future.
Yep.
And yet you took a couple of weeks off and absolutely had a blast with your kids.
Absolutely had a blast. Like
Do
we
you
we we
regret that at
went
all?
crazy. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret it at all. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
great. It's great, man. It's great. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy because like during Christmas vacation, my oldest has a birthday on December 29th. So it's just like there's just extra put in there too. You know, it's not just, and it's like there's no way I can work 40 hours a week. And I mean, I don't work 40 hours a week as it is, but like sometimes I do, but it's more like 4 days a week. So but throwing in a birthday in the middle of Christmas, it just ups the game that much more. And I mean, we didn't hold back at all. We went to like magic shows and we went to the pool and the water slides, and you know, we had a party here. We built a lasers all over the place. It was just crazy. It was just crazy for days. And I remember the last Sunday, I was just done. I could barely move. I'm like, I just did it all. I just did it all. Like there's just no holding back on the fun that we could have had. And it was great. I absolutely love it. And I wouldn't trade it for working more hours by any means, you know? I love it.
That's the trick. The trick is this idea of coming back to some form of balance. And I don't want to take away from people who are trying to create something. That's not what we're talking about here. Because there are times where, yep, nose to the grindstone, we have to push through. But what I'm noticing is the trend in modern times for both the partners in the house. Like we've come together to try to create something beautiful in partnership a lot of times. And then
Mhm.
both people are gas pedal floored, right? There isn't a stop point. One thing leads to the next. And it's not just then, it's just this roll, man. It's like expanding. And there's
Mhm.
zero sustainability to that. Yes, you can do this when you're young. Yes, I assure you, there's a price to pay at the end of that. So the sooner we can really understand this idea, can I achieve a balance? And it's always a dance. It'll always need adjusting because life is always throwing stuff at us. But where's the balance? To your point about fun, you ask this question to most people today and they're just staring at you. Or they'll say, like you said, well, yeah, I go to the gym. Yeah, you enjoy going to the gym. That's part of your fitness. But are you having fun, like grab your belly, cry, laugh out loud, fun?
Yeah.
No one is doing this anymore. No one.
This
Last
guy is, buddy. This guy is.
last night I went to something called the Speakers Playground. It's a lady who does coaching and workshops on how to become a better speaker, how to prepare yourself for that TEDx stage if that's your goal.
Yep.
And so my partner, Brandy, who is doing a lot more public speaking these days, she went to that and she has been training with this person. And I notice every time she comes home, she's just filled up with joy and happiness and has had a lot of fun. So there was a free workshop last night, and I said, well, let me go check this lady out. And I had a great time. I had a lot of fun. I'm like, hey, that could be a playground for me. It's literally called the Speaker's Playground. And
Yeah.
while, I'm in front of people a lot, I've noticed that recently, because of changes in the industry I typically work in, I'm not on a stage anymore. So my skills begin to diminish. Well, now I get to double down. I get to go to something that's going to keep my skills sharp and it's a blast, like really, really fun. Okay, great. Wherever we can double down on something, doesn't that feel a lot better too?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I try to double down on fun all the time. Like if we're doing dishes, can we throw on some tunes? Can we like, is there any fun in it? Like gamify as much as you can. And it becomes part of just the regular day to day. I'm just infusing it everywhere laundry, we're going to do laundry. Okay, let's see if we can slide the laundry basket down the stairs and keep all the laundry in there. Like it becomes a game all of a sudden. And there's not like points or anything, but just like, can we do it? And that's awesome because the kids friggin' love it. And I I love doing that kind of stuff for like wherever I go. If I'm going to a class or if I'm going to like work, like I've always made work fun. I've always tried to make work fun. And bringing that awareness into your parenting, into your home life is, I think it's, for me, it's like it's not a negotiable. Like it has to happen now. I don't want to live life any other way.
Absolutely. One of the people I was referring to recently, told me that they hadn't basically seen their kids in a month,
Yeah, because they're too busy.
traveling, flying places, and it's all business oriented. It's all contributing to their future. And they're missing some of the golden years of raising children where other people are raising those children. And their relationship is kind of doing this. And then, of course, the person who comes home, well, that person's very tired. They've worked super, super hard. And there's not any gas left in the resilience gas tank for them to engage in a level they would love to engage with their kids. And this is how the families are beginning to kind of disintegrate, especially in the North America experience of strive and get that brass ring.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. And so, I mean, we can dive into this. I love where we just rant off about stuff. I mean, we can just get on a call and we can just go and go and go and go and go. But I want to get really specific about what we can talk about today because I think that there's some. I just need some clarity around the ZEN Dad method. I think a lot of people think that I'm a coach, and I'm not necessarily a coach here. I'm more like the original client of the ZEN Dad method. We started building this airplane as we were flying, and it was really your coaching that kind of developed the ZEN Dad method in the first place. I'm like the first client of the ZEN Dad method, and I just like, oh, how do we continue this and bring this to more dads? How do we take these ideas that we're talking about, these concepts, this way of life, this way of being, and make it into something accessible to more and more dads? And that ripple effect goes out to their kids, and that ripple effect goes out to generations. And it actually has a positive impact on, like we're putting a dent in the universe here. And it all just started at like, I had some background in self-help and wellness and all of these things, but the place that I was in was I was overwhelmed. I was burnt out. I was just all over the place. And you just kind of took me and said, okay, let's get you pointed in the right direction. Let's figure out some of these things. But it's really all the stuff that we put together, it comes together with your coaching. I found you, and it was like this diamond in the rough of just like, wow, what are the chances that I get to work with this amazing coach? And you're not out there. You're not like promoting like Tony Robbins. You're not out there with a big stage or anything. You're just like doing your work in the background of life, and you're having these huge impacts on people. And it's amazing to me that now we've come together to make the ZEN Dad method and have that impact for so many more dads. And I want your teachings to kind of go out there. You're kind of like this crazy combination of like Tony Robbins and Buddha and Grant Cardone and like all these different amazing, like Jordan or Peter Jordan, John. I can't even talk anymore. I'm so excited about all of the things that you've brought to my life. You know what? I want other people to understand the caliber of coaching that we have. Because I mean, there's you that's taught tens of thousands of people trainings and coachings. You've worked with the highest level of military, police, first responders, fire departments, ambulance. Like these are high stress positions, and you're so calm with any situation that comes your way. The shit that I brought you, every other person I went to was like, I got nothing for you. Lawyers, police, family and child services. Like I just went through the list and everyone was like, I don't even know. And you were like, I got you. Yeah. And you were calm about it. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, I got you. Yeah, I don't think you understand. You're like, no, no, no. I got you through this one. And you did. It was that you actually backed it up and you did. Like, promise. You delivered on your promise. I got you. And to this day, we still like, I got this problem. You're like, yeah, I got you. And we get through it. It's amazing. It blows my mind. I just want people to understand what it's like to work with you. It's life-changing. It is absolutely life-changing in such a positive way. And getting that message out there is probably like, it's my mission now. That's what happened. That became my mission. How do we do what you did for me for other people now? Because I think that the quality of life that I have and my kids have is so good, and I couldn't have done it without your help. So first, thank you. Second of all, like let's just spread that word, you know?
Well, I'm highly disappointed to hear this because now I have to live up to the hype.
Sorry, buddy. I know that's not how you like to do it at all. You're kind of like under the radar.
Well, it is a little under the radar, and there's a reason for it. Thank you for those very, very kind words. I really do appreciate it. Uh, I've been through the grinder in the school of hard knocks, and I've seen human dysfunction and the worst humanity offers at a level that no human being should be exposed to. And yet that was my choice, my career. And as a result of that, there's damn little that shocks me.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of empathy for what people go through because it's just hard to be a human. It's messy. Sometimes it's incredibly tragic. And so, as a result of that and my own deep dive into the shadow and the exploration of who am I and where do I fit in this world, one of the things that really started to dawn on me was where do I feel the most satisfied when I am in service to community?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at an age now where I can't patrol the mean streets anymore. That demographic that you arrest stays 18 to 24, full of testosterone and probably high. And, as your body ages, you just can't keep up with that kind of aggression. So it's like, okay, what now what? And one of the things that I really, really enjoy is the one-on-one experience. Yes, I could be on stages and influencing a lot of more people. And I've done some of that work. And there's something very juicy about that. But one of the things I really started to notice was the vast, vast majority, and I'm talking like maybe 98 to 99% of the people that were out in that audience made little to no behavioral change.
Yeah.
Or if they made behavioral change, it was a little while and then they returned back to that known, right? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And
Yep.
doing shadow work, doing a deep dive into the self, a very difficult thing to do. And so there's a lot of self-help people out there, and I would never knock them. I think Tony Robbins and people like Tony
Yeah, I think
are
it's great.
they're inspiring and they change lives on a certain metric that is just almost beyond belief. But where I started to really think about this was how could I make a deeper impact for someone? And it's through the one-to-one coaching idea where I'm here and I'm dedicated to you. I'm going
Mhm.
to hear your story. And then through the coaching process, the thing that I want people to really understand, Jay, I already see you as complete. You are a whole and complete person who's just stuck. And so my job isn't to solve your problems. My job is to help you discover that you already know the answer, that it's already there for you to figure out. And then you're empowered to move forward. When we look at a standard therapy model, and I just had a deep conversation with a friend of mine who's a doctor, a psychotherapist, and they've walked away from their profession because they realized that the profession, their opinion,
Yep.
is designed not to actually heal someone, but rather to keep the person dependent upon them so they can navigate life. And she had a cathartic moment where she's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And so she's moved to now a more coaching based model where the person is viewed as whole and complete and empowered to get unstuck and then move forward. Now,
Well,
sometimes
this
it
is
makes sense, Jay, to stay with that coach. Sometimes it makes sense. And then sometimes it makes sense to have some separation and test your waters, see how you're doing. And if something big comes up, you can always re-engage. But the idea being that let's empower more people to solve the challenges that come at them in real time. And when that awakens inside someone, that's it, dude. I'm like floating on cloud nine because
yeah.
that person is now autonomously empowered to move forward in their life. That's beautiful.
Well, this is the crazy thing because what you've just described there, I mean, when I go back to my separation, when my wife moved out of the house and I was losing my mind and I had a therapist and I started working with you, a coach. And it was good to go to the therapist because I was like, oh, I needed to get all this stuff out, but it was a lot of talk and no action and a lot of validation with how I felt,
Yeah.
but no fixes, no solutions, nothing that I could actually grab onto and do. And when everything really hit, like when the shit hit the fan, so to speak, she was like, I don't know what to do. And it was just like she had nothing for me because that wasn't her job. She wasn't there to try and help me shift this or work, just to hear and listen to me. And I was like, no, I need actual tangible things to do. Like I'm in a situation right now and I need something to do with this energy, with this. And you were like, I got it, I got it. And my sessions with her started just going, it changed to me telling her how effective you were. It was crazy. And I was just like, oh, he does this, and then we do this, and blah, blah, blah. And this really helped. And she was like, oh, and you could just see her wheels turning about what was going on. And I think that actually shifts a lot of therapists into coaching because they want to actually help and they're
Oh,
stuck in this model with legalities and all these different things with their governing body of what they're allowed to do and what's acceptable within their profession. And I know that there's therapists that are stepping away from that role to do coaching because it's so much more effective. And I personally love it. I think that it's skills, it's techniques that you will actually use on a day-to-day basis that have an effect, a positive effect, and that's amazing. I also got into all the dad groups and all the group sessions, and what I found there was it's great to connect with people that are in the same place as you, but then it's a lot of complaining and a lot of validation. Oh, I have these problems. Yeah, me too. Okay, what do you do about it? Well, I go and have a couple beers and you'll get through it, like muscle through. Well, I'm looking for actual things that I can grab onto here. I want tangible skills and techniques that are going to help me get through that, get away from those problems. And that's where coaching comes in. It is so different to have a coach in your corner that knows like, oh, this is your problem. These are your options that you can try. Go see what works for you. Because you've never really told me like, this is what you have to do. You've always been like, here's an option, here's an option, here's an option. Go try them, see what works. Let me know. Oh, this one really worked, Rodger. This one really, really worked. I really like that. The heavy bag was probably the biggest game changer. Nobody died. Like I get worked up. I get so worked up. And people know, like Jay's really pissed off, just walk away. And I don't even get that angry anymore. It's been years of work. But through that separation, through all the shit that happened, the open relationship, all the drugs that my ex-wife got into, like all the anger, the situations my kids were in, I was livid, and rightfully so. But at the same time, that anger could have led to making the situation so much worse.
Exactly.
So much worse. And I went to all the groups and the people, and they're like, oh yeah, like I'd fucking rip that guy's head off, or oh man, I'd like kick her out of the house. And all of those moves would have ended me up in a much worse position. And I'm like, Rodger, what do I do with this? Okay, we're gonna do this. You got all this energy, you got all this anger. Go get a heavy bag. Go get a $40 one from Kijiji or Marketplace on Facebook and beat the shit out of it with a baseball bat. Anytime you get angry. And I did. And I did, and I did, and I did, and I did, and I did. For weeks, I beat the crap out of that thing. I beat it so hard, I'd split, and I had to duct tape the thing, and I beat it some more. And it just hangs in my basement now, and I haven't touched it in well over a year, you know, because as a man with that testosterone, that anger, that rage, if you just bottle it down, if you just numb those feelings with alcohol or weed, it doesn't go anywhere. And then eventually, the pressure just builds, and you snap. And you snap while you're driving in your car, or and you like get out of the car and you want to pull somebody out of their window and beat the crap out of them. It's not going to solve anything. It's going to get you in way more trouble. So it's like, what can I actually do? And you just had all these techniques, and I just value them so much.
It's really the key to it all is, and before I even roll into this, I just want to make sure that everybody understands I'm not knocking the field of psychotherapy at all.
Oh no,
For
got its
some
place.
people, that's perfect. It's perfect. But I think a lot of people are really looking for actionable items rather than just being heard. And coaching offers both. So this idea, right, of like, how can I help this person feel more empowered? Okay, they've got a lot of anger. And like you said, you stuff that down. Anger is not bad. Anger is not bad. Anger can be channeled into unbelievable abilities to move through something, because let's think about emotional content. Really, what it is, it's an energy roiling through your inner space, the avatar that you are. You've got an energy inside you, and we've decided to label that, oh, that's anger, and anger's bad.
Yeah.
Is it? Or is anger just a lot of energy? Just a whole bunch of energy that's been built up. Oh, it's bad. I better stuff it down. Well, we know what happens to the physical body and the mind when we stuff emotion down.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitably, it's pay me now or pay me later. My daughter, when she was about 15, and those hormones began to kick in, and she was gaining her independence, meaning she's breaking away from my wife and I, went through a phase of anger, lasted about 2 years. And it was blevy anger, like, 0 to bitch in under a half a second.
Was
Like,
she a teenager at this time?
15, 15,
15. Oh yeah, right in the middle, eh? Yeah,
right in the
yeah,
middle. She's 5'8". She's muscular, and she has a black belt in Taekwondo. This is a problem.
yeah.
So she was being abusive, and one day she actually attacked me. And she threw a spinning heel kick straight at my temple, man. It was a kill shot.
What?
I also happened to be peaking in my martial arts at that time. It was very easy to block, scoop the leg. I swept her other leg out from underneath her. I put my hand on her chest, and I drove her into the ground as hard as I could. and I
Yeah.
knocked the wind out of her. Now, most people would say that's abuse. Is it? It was a
Self-defense.
correction and
Yeah.
self-defense. I told her after she regained herself, I said, it is never acceptable to physically attack me or your mother. You can get angry. That's not a problem. That's human.
Mhm.
That now here's what we're going to do. Come with me. Now she's very humble pied for a moment because the old man is a lot harder to deal with than she thought.
Yep. Yeah, I can only imagine. Oh my God.
So we went to the garage and I gave
Yeah.
her a baseball bat and I said, beat the heavy bag until you can't breathe anymore.
Mm.
What? Beat the heavy bag till you can't breathe anymore. I want you to get angry. That anger you just threw at me, you're going to put it into this inanimate object. And so she
Hmm.
did. She beat it and beat it and beat it. And then she had to literally couldn't hold the bat anymore. She was shaking. And then I gave her a big hug and she cried like a child. I'm there to comfort her. And I said, anytime you feel anger toward me, your mom, or your sister, you come in here, you grab the baseball bat, and you wail. She did
Mm, that's right.
2 years.
2 years. Wow.
She had a lot in there. And we
Yeah.
did other things to support her through this anger period. But that one right there gave her the release before it could deal with itself in some horrible maladaptive way.
Yeah.
Who knows what she might have been capable of? Who knows what she might have done to somebody at school, for example, or whatever, right? It's like, why be afraid of it? Let's not be afraid of anything that's inside of us. Let's understand it and let's find a way to release it. There's a great speaker. He's a very motivational guy. His name's Eric Thomas. And he
Mm.
says, you're already suffering. Get something for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have this incredible amount of energy inside you. Now let's channel this in some new directions. In your case, it was a matter of no, no, that's rage. That's not
Mm.
just anger. We got to get rage out so we notch it down, but don't suppress it. Now you still have a lot of energy. Channel it into something beautiful. And that's exactly what you did. It was an experiment. Jay, try this. That's coaching.
That's coaching. And it's so effective. It's so effective. And I love that. I love delving into how you do it, what you do. I love understanding it. And I think that's a huge thing for me. Actually I think that's a male thing. It's kind of a guy thing, right? They wanna understand the mechanics behind it. They want to, rip apart the car. They want to look inside the technology and how does it work. There's a logical element to guys, and I think that's where coaching comes in really, really well, because guys want solutions. They want to know how it works, and that's coaching. And I think that therapist model is really based on sharing the feelings, and it works really well for a lot of women. Not to say, one's better than the other, or, men or women, not trying to be like segregating anything here, but just the way that my mind works, and I know a lot of other guys, it's like I want the logical, rational side to have this figured out. I want to really pick it apart so that I know what I'm getting into, what my options are, all of the things. And coaching just kind of laid that all out for me. And it was amazing. Because I mean, guys and girls are different. Like as much as we want to be equal in everything, there's still differences between men and women, right?
Love that. It's absolutely true. And I think it's very important to acknowledge that. Just masculine energy in general, oh, it's toxic. No, it's masculine. Don't
Masculine.
try to turn it into a negative, but let's channel it in directions that are in service to the people that we love rather than destructive. All energy has the ability to be on either side of that coin. We can create with it or destroy with it. Oh, well, let's learn a few coping mechanisms to channel that amazing energy. Let's even enhance it and channel it in the right direction instead of this shame and blame and all of that. And the beauty of like the journey you had and are still having, when there's some options provided to you, you get to experiment with those. But here's the coolest part about that. It's not like Jay, you have to do it exactly like this. This goes to this, goes to this, goes to this. It's like, hey, try this, tweak it, make it your own. And that's the other side of the beauty of coaching, which is we give you some input. We throw some, I like to call it throwing spaghetti noodles on the wall because sometimes a noodle sticks. And then you can adjust that noodle. You can flavor it any way that you want. You can add certain spices to it. And you go, Rodger, I did that, but then I added this, 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 and this, and it worked out really well. Yes. Now that right there is the empowerment piece. But more important, the community that we are creating, when dads come in and say, hey, I took this idea and then I did this with it.
Mhm.
Now we've enhanced it, and other people can go, ooh, I kind of like that. I'll give that a try. That's how in collaboration we can move forward in really profound ways. It's not like just follow the formula, man. You're not about that. You do the same thing with the Zen Dad method. And man, that's it right there. Because in that community, it's like an open source for Zen Dad methods and the ways for enhancing those processes. Awesome.
That's the beauty of it though, because every new dad that comes into this brings something with them. Even if it's problems, okay, great. Let's solve those. Then we're going to know for the next dad if he's got the same problem. It's like everything that comes into this ecosystem is good. You know, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, you've got problems. Perfect. Let's help you out with them. Let's figure out how to solve them. Let's get some new aspects here. Let's get some new tools and figure it all out. And it's amazing because every new guy that comes into this is just like Tom blows my mind. Tom comes in, he's like, hey, I see what you guys are doing and I just want to be a part of it. And then you find out all of the things that Tom brings. I can't wait to interview Tom on this because it's going to be mind blowing. And we'll save it for that. But he's just got all these skills and all this life experience and all these like amazing gifts. And you're just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, this guy's awesome. Bring him into the ecosystem. And it's not a competition. It's like, oh no, Tom's got all these amazing skills. He's way better than me as a father. I don't think so. What can I learn from this guy? Wow. Because there's no competition in fatherhood. There's no better dad. It's, oh, hey, you've got that skill. I'd love to learn about that. Hey, I want to share this with you. And then it's no like we did not get to where we are in civilization with all the technology that we have, all the amazing things that we've created, cities and infrastructures and all of the things. I think the world is absolutely amazing with what we've created. It's all from collaboration. It's all from working together. So when we take that model and we apply it to fatherhood, parenting, you know, the Zen Dad method, well, that's what's going to make it so amazing for everybody.